Welcome back to Path to Mastery, this little three-part series I'm doing about early scouting. Last time we talked about scouting as Zerg and what timings those scouts come and what you should be looking for in each matchup when you're playing Zerg. Today we're going to talk about Terran. I'm Diamond Terran, Zerg, and Protoss. I'm Diamond in every race, so I kind of know the basics of each matchup. So I kind of feel like I have some idea of what I should be scouting for. So if that gives you any ease of mind, I hope I can make you believe that I kind of know what I'm talking about, at least within the first 5 minutes of the game. So let's talk about scouting timings as Terran. Last time, if you saw the Zerg one, you know that if you do a worker scout right off the bat, it's going to hit the opponent's base at 50 seconds. So this, I usually do a worker scout at 17 supply with Terran. What I do is, obviously, if I'm going gas first or Rex first, doesn't matter. I always at 17 rally out that worker over to the other side of the map. And let's see what time it's going to hit. .143 at the natural. 150 in the main. Okay, so we're going to have that as our two, 50 seconds for the worker scout, 143 for the natural, 150 for the main. Alright, so let's take a look at each of the matchups that we could have. Alright, so let's say that we're going against a Zerg. I've been playing random this season, so I've got a lot of different matchups, so pardon me, I'm not playing Terran in this. Here we go. So this is against a Zerg that goes pool first against me in a ZVZ. But this build kind of works against any player. So the first timing that we've got is 50 seconds. So let's see what's going on at 50 seconds as the Terran. If I was to scout into his base at 50 seconds, regardless of what he's doing on the other side of the map, okay, regardless of what he's doing on his side of the map, if I scout in at 50 seconds with the Terran, not a lot really going on right now. Not a lot really going on. Let's wait a couple more seconds. At 55 seconds, around 50 seconds, you could see if he's going like a 13 pool or something like that, a little bit earlier, you would be able to see it as it came in at 50 seconds. But this is about the latest pool first that you could do as Zerg, 17 pool first. So the benefit of doing a worker scout against Zerg, if you're playing Terran, is you can see if they're going pool first. But let's see what's going on if we do a worker scout at 143. So next, I'm going to pause it at 1 minute and 43 seconds. 1 minute, 43 seconds. Boom. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's say I get here right now at 143. I see, hatchery is not finished. In a regular build, the hatchery should be, this is a little bit late because I got it blocked at my natural here. It should be getting close to being halfway done, and you should start seeing teeth coming out of it right about 144. If you've done it at a 17 hatch first, there should be some teeth coming up. Look at this thing, there's like no teeth on this guy yet, right? So look at the differences between the hatcheries. This one's a little bit larger. There's some teeth sprouting along the entire edge. This one's got all like 4 teeth on it, and it's still very, very small. So you could see first immediately, that's a really small hatchery. This is a pool first, and let's wait till 50. Going into the main, we can see here. Oh wow, okay, yeah, pool is finished at 150. On mine, pool is not yet finished. So another thing that you can do if you're questioning, I don't know if this is pool first or not. I don't know. Go into the main at 150. If the pool is finished, you know it was a pool first. If it was not a pool first, a standard 18 or 17 pool, it should be almost finished. Or if it's just finishing as you walk in, that's fine too. So yeah, against Zerg, 50 seconds, you can see if they're going pool first. But really, that first worker count at 17 gives you all of that information as well. And you don't lose all that extra mining time. Let's talk about Protoss. So I actually got Terran on this one. Let's see at 50 seconds when I do my... If I was to do a worker scout. 50 seconds. Okay, so if I was to do a worker scout at 50 seconds, I would see if they're doing a cannon rush or not. So pylon gate first, I would see if this is either a gate or a forge. Maybe they're proxying their very first pylon. That's kind of not in the meta right now. But honestly, as Terran, if they're cannon rushing you, you just lift up and fly to a different base, and problem is solved. So really, I don't see a massive benefit of scouting on 50. If you really are getting hit with a lot of cannon rushes, or if you're really worried about it, yeah, sure, do a 50 worker scout at the very beginning of the game, and you can see if they're putting down the forge right away. That might be a good thing for you. Let's check out 143. 1 minute and 43 seconds, I should be in the natural. I'm actually coming across right now with my worker. So yeah, right here, this is, I actually see this too. So what you should be looking for at 143 at your 17 scout is, do they have a natural or not? From me, I can see that, okay, don't have a natural. Well, I don't know if they have a natural or not yet, but I'm about to go in and see that they have 2 gates. So 2 gates before your natural expand means that there's a lot of pressure coming your way. Also, let's take a look at how many pylons we have right here. 2 pylons. Let's also look at how much gas they're taking. So there's a lot of information against Protoss that you can get right here at the 143 minute mark. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. This is a really good scout. If they have 2 gateways before their natural goes down, this is intended for some early stalkers or some early adepts, some pressure coming out your way. If they have only 1 pylon in their base, they should have 2 by now to continue making workers. If they only have 1 pylon in their base at 145, you know that there's 1 pylon being proxied somewhere on the map, somewhere out here in this map. So scout number 1, you can look at how many gates do they have. Is it more than 1? Is it 2? Or you can then look at, okay, they only have 1 gate, but how many pylons do they have? Is it 2? If it's only 1, you know there's something on the map. Also, gases. If you see that they have 2 gases early at this time, you know that there's a lot of pressure, because they don't really have... You have to spend your gas, if you're a decent player, on things like units and stuff like that, rather than just getting another expansion. And you know, it doesn't make sense to have 2 gas before you expand if you're not being aggressive. It doesn't make sense. So I call this the rule of 2s with Protoss. Do they have 2 gates? There's aggression. Do they have 2 pylons? If no, 1's proxied, there's aggression. Do they have 2 gas? If the answer is yes, then you know that there's going to be some pressure. If they have an expansion at this time, you're fine. So this is a really complicated scout for Terran. But yeah, this is maybe a really, really interesting scout. So I'll just kind of play this one through a little bit. I see it, and I start trying to block his natural. And then meanwhile, I'm going to take my command center on the high ground. Again, you don't have to super overreact if they're going to be aggressive early to you. You don't have to all in or anything like that. But don't be stupid and leave your stuff on the ground. You see right there, there's Zealot coming across. There's Stalker coming across. And yeah, all I did was build a bunker. I'm doing exactly my same build. Just expanded on the high ground and got a bunker. And I completely shut it down. So I do it with a mind drop BTW. But yeah, you don't have to overreact and go crazy, because yeah, they're probably going to expand out, but they're just trying to put on a little bit of pressure first. If I was to just take this natural and have like a couple Marines, this ends my day. This wrecks my day really, really quick. But I'm all nice and safe right now. Now let's look at Terran. This is actually a battlecruiser rush. I've been getting hit with this quite a bit recently. So, okay, let's look at 50 seconds. What's going on at 50 seconds with a Terran? if I'm playing TVT? What's the benefit of a 50-second worker scout? That would be, am I getting proxy raxed? If I was to send a worker across the map at 50 seconds, I would see, they don't have a barracks. Even if they're going gas first. They don't have a barracks. That means there's a barracks somewhere on the map. I have to be careful. So 50 seconds, you could see if there is a proxy. Honestly, I don't feel it's that important to scout this if you're doing a 17 worker scout. But if you're very worried, if you're getting proxied a lot, you can do that. It's no problem. Next timing is a 143. Okay, here we go. If you were to do a 143 scout, you see, okay, they are not expanding, but you should walk up into their main, because this would be right about when, if you see this, their barracks finished, they should have their SCV down on the ground, and they should be expanding right now. This should be a command center. Instead, it's a factory. So if you go up the ramp, 50 seconds, let's take a look. So yeah, you'd be up in the ramp at 50 seconds, so you get by this. So basically what you want to see is, do they have gases? Do they have tech? If they are teching up before they get their command center, you know that this is going to be early pressure. You need to be careful. If you see that they have 2 gases before they're expanding, you know that this is going to be pressure. You have to be careful. So again, 17 worker scout. Are they expanding? No. How many gases do they have? Is it 2? How much tech do they have? Do they have a factory? If there's just a barracks, but there's 2 gas, maybe there's a proxy factory somewhere. So you have to be kind of careful about, if you don't see the tech, always check the gas. If you see they have 2 gas, then you know that they're being aggressive, because Terran has the ability to proxy stuff. If you see a tech building before the command center goes down, you know that there is going to be some early pressure. So let's recap. 50-second worker scout, or you could do 17 scout and be in the natural by 143 and be in the main by 150. If you're going against a Zerg, you can see if they're going pool first with the 50 worker scout, or you can see if their hatch is almost finished, or if their pool's already done by 143. Against Protoss, you can see with a 50-second worker scout, are they doing a cannon rush? But again, I don't really feel that's a big benefit. At 143, you can go in and see the rule of 2. Do they have 2 gates? Do they have a second pylon on their base? Do they have 2 gases? If the answer to those are all, if the first and third is no and the second is yes, then you know that you're safe. In Terran, when you do the 50-second worker scout, you can see if they're doing a proxy rex. At 1 minute 43 seconds, you should see if SCV down on the low ground to expand out to their natural. If you don't, go up, check their gas. Do they have 2 gas? If the answer is yes, there's going to be pressure. If they have tech before they're expanding out, you know that there's going to be pressure. So I hope that you've learned something from this. I'm going to try to put some marks in the comments below so you can take a look at it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, if you're getting early pressure, you don't have to all in, you don't have to overreact, but just be ready for some aggression. This isn't about the reactions to it, this is just about trying to learn the scout. As Day 9 always says, if you don't know what you're scouting for, don't scout. I hope that you've learned at least what to look for, and I hope this helps you in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.